having the correct mindset of survival, okay? Again, we've talked about this many times. If you guys are going to be ninja or shinobi or Minomi, which is a scout, if you got to go from A to B, there were no cars, there were no horses, well, they had horses, but there was no cars, no trains. You know, transportation was more primitive, you know, and especially if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing in a place where you shouldn't be, you want to be as secret as possible. So survival skills is of the utmost importance if you were traveling as a shinobi or a samurai or a ninja or Minomi or whatever, okay? And I do want to put a footnote to that. I do think it's really odd that a lot of these ninjutsu schools don't teach survival skills in the curriculum, simply because it had to have been a very common, I mean it literally had to have been an extremely common skill set. But it's like everyone just focuses on swordsmanship, but they would never have used the damn sword if they couldn't got from A to B. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I just don't understand why, and everyone gets all wrapped up in certain, like they say, oh, well, our school is more about the history and tradition or Japanese culture, or they say things like that, and it's like, well, if that's true, then why the hell aren't you doing this then? Because that's what they would have done. Yeah. But so many, you know what I mean? You know, but if you ask them to do basic things like, okay, now go get water, disinfect water, make char cloth, create fire from primitive resources. You know, direction, using astrology, knowing your direction, weather patterns. You know, they have no fucking clue, but they can do, oh, here's, you know, Fudokin or Omote Shuto or something along those lines, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we practice taijutsu skills and all that too, but I just think that understanding, like literally the name of the school, Budo, right? The school of the warrior way. You should understand the way that the warrior did things, and then take all of those concepts and apply it to your life. So knowing how to survive, knowing how to get from A to B is very important. I mean, that's what we're all trying to do right now, isn't it? Trying to get from A to B. We all have our own journey in life. So you need to understand that process as well. Yes, we need to all fight our own demons and be able to protect ourselves and combat and reality-based self-defense. I get that. But we're all also on our own journey. We all also need to know these basic principles to get from A to B. And that right there is the concept of this, correct mindset of survival. Now, this is going to be 8 points. So number 1 is situation, okay? So no matter what you do, no matter where you are, always recognize the situation, okay? The situation, we know this in self-defense as situational awareness, but it becomes a little bit more than that, especially if you guys are traveling or if you are in some sort of survival situation, right? So it's like, you know, where are you? How did you get there? Generally speaking, the way you got in is the way you're going to get out. You know what I mean? I mean, if you use a raft to get there, you're not walking out. You follow me? If you walked to the destination, you're not going to get a boat and go back the other way. So, and I use totally dramatic examples there, but it's true. Generally, the way you get there is the way you get out of there. Generally, not always. But understand the situation. So number 1 is situation. And I want you guys to kind of put a dash, situational awareness. Understand situational awareness, and always remember the 3 P's of situational awareness, right? Perception, process, and plan. Don't forget that when we talk about situational awareness. The second thing we need to do when you're there is waste. I want you to think of waste. Do not waste energy. Do not waste time. Do not waste resources. Don't get in so much of a damn hurry that you're running around doing all this shit and burning off calories, burning off energy, using resources that you absolutely do not need to do, right? Do not get in a hurry. Do not do stupid shit. Do not waste movement, waste energy. You catch what I'm saying? That's the first part of situation. So when you're doing situational awareness number 1, and I'm saying, okay, perception, process, plan, at the point of plan, that means stick to the damn plan. Don't go number 2, which is waste, and then waste a bunch of energy and all so on and so forth. Don't waste it. Be very conservative with the resources that you have. Understand? Number 3, remember. And I know this is kind of a no shit technique, but remember where you are. And you're going to know where you are just because you're going to see that, but remember where you are, meaning why are you there? That's what I mean. Why are you there? Are you there because you're sightseeing? Are you there because you're going for a nature walk? Did you go on some sort of a vacation and you went out somewhere? Why are you there? Because remembering why you're there will also help kind of ground your mindset in a way to get back. When people freak out, that anxiety goes up, fear goes up, stress goes up, all these things, all these levels go up, and we tend to think irrational shit, right? If you can kind of step back a minute and say, okay, look, I am here because I took a nature walk and I went wherever, and it kind of helps ground that mindset and bring it back to zero. Okay, that's why that's there, to kind of help lower those emotions that may happen when you're in a shitty situation, right? Number 4 is called Vanquish. Vanquish all fear and anxiety. Now, that doesn't mean it will completely be eliminated. I mean, no, we use the word vanquish, but what we're trying to talk about here is you're going to try to let those go in the sense of they're not going to run the way you think. You don't want to do things out of emotion. You don't want to do things out of fear. You don't want to do things out of anxiety. It's okay to have fear. Fear keeps you more aware. Fear makes your perception widen. But you don't want to make a decision based on fear, based on anxiety, based on stress. So we think of vanquish. You're going to say, okay, yeah, I'm freaking out. What is the most realistic thing that I need to do now? And then go back to the last step, which is remember why the fuck you're there. Right? Bring those things down, okay? All these kind of get tied into one another, as you'll kind of see, right? The next one's improvise, and this is going to be, improvise can be a lot of different things. Improvise, you've always heard improvise, adapt, and overcome. Improvise certain survival tools, maybe improvise your shelter. But no matter where you are, what you're doing, you can always, here's another word for you, you can improve the situation. Improve where you are. Get a better perception of what you need to do to get out of there. Because sometimes making a shelter right where you are is probably the best bet. I mean, chopping off 20 more miles down the road when you don't know the fuck you are to begin with doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You know what I mean? But again, this also is the same thing with urban environment too. You're lost, maybe you missed a bus somewhere, you missed a train somewhere, you're in the middle of a city that you don't know where you're at, you can't get a cab, maybe your phone died, same sort of thing. Improve your situation. Where are you and how the fuck can you get to a more populated area that doesn't put you in a situation that you don't want to be in and that you could kind of harm yourself for doing stupid shit. Always improve where you're at. So that's where we get into that particular section of improvise, right? Think, improvise. The next one is number 6 is value living. You have to want to live, right? You got to want to survive. You got to want to get in a better situation. If you get somewhere and you're freaking out, anxiety comes in, depression, fear, all this kind of stuff, you're stressed out, and you're like, oh fuck me, I should just die. Well, it doesn't matter what you're going to do. If you already have the mindset that you're worthless and you're going to die, you're not going to get out of there. You have to value your life. You have to value living. Now, sometimes people don't give a shit about themselves, but they do give a shit about other people. So in that situation when you guys are like, fucked, you're mentally down. For me, it'd be, think of the kids. Think of your spouse. Think of whatever. Someone that you love. Someone that you know you need to get back to. And use that as motivation. That's what I mean by value living. Value the things in life that give you something to fight for. You know what I mean? Number 7. It's act. Now, this particular part, act, this is what kind of goes along the lines of kage no kamae, which is blending in. If you are in a place where you are around other people, you need to act like they act. You need to do what they do. Be what they are, right? You need to blend in. Because if you make yourself look like a tourist, you make yourself look like you're in a situation where you're not supposed to be there or you don't know what you're doing, you immediately become prey to every predator in that area. So it is very important from a self-defense situation, right? Self-preservation. Number 7 is act. Act like they are. Blend in. And that's, again, same concept that we have in the Densho of Kage no Kamae. Yeah? The last one is learn. And this is something that does happen with the situation. It also happens outside of the situation. So to have the correct mindset, you need to learn. It's not just about, okay, how can I make a fire with a lighter, right? It's how can I make a fire in every element possible, whether it's hot, dry, wet, high humidity, with a magnesium, with a flint steel, with a magnesium brick, with a ferro rod, with a lighter, with primitive, or you're rubbing sticks. I mean, how can I make fire that way? How can I find water? How can I do this? You always want to learn new methods, right, to be able to utilize in the situation of survival. Because remember, knowledge is lightweight, and you can take it anywhere you go, right? I've said that a million times. So that is an extremely important thing to remember. So one more time, there are 8 points. Number 1, situation. Number 2, waste. 3, remember. 4, vanquish. 5, improvise. 6, value living. 7, act. And 8, learn. Right?